Good day everybody, happy Friday, welcome to the end of the week, welcome to the weekend. What a fantastic time to be alive. It does kind of feel like at the moment I'm just living for the weekend. I'm wishing my life away to get myself to Friday so that I can look forward to Saturday and Sunday. That's no way to live. What a morbid start to the end of the week. Depression, what a wonderful thing. Okay, so today I've given you what I hope is a slightly fun exercise but still a review. So what we're going to do today is watch a documentary video. Now it's a very simple YouTube documentary about body language. Now I don't think it's really about body language. It does touch on body language quite a lot. It does go through some elements of body language and communication. I think it should have been titled Unconscious Communication. It would have been more accurate. What body language is, if you like, it's unconscious seepage. Your conscious mind and your unconscious mind, as I've said before, are largely separate. They don't communicate very well. So when your conscious mind is busy doing thinking stuff, the unconscious mind controlling your body lets some communication creep out and actually lets out more communication than your mouth. You're always focused on what you're saying. We're always thinking about what it is that we're putting across through our mouth. Our body goes ahead and highlights what we're actually thinking while we're talking. Now, if you can learn to master that, if you can learn to understand what that language is, then you can understand what someone's really thinking and feeling while they're talking. And it's a much more honest way of gauging what they're saying. Now they reckon about 70% of communication is non-verbal. I'm not an expert enough to say whether that's right or wrong. Sounds like a high number, but I'd probably agree with it. And communication unconsciously goes from every single thing from the first time you look at somebody. Presidents in America have literally lost their job over body language. There was one president, I think it was Truman, and this was quite a long time ago, black and white news cameras. He wasn't good at cameras. He didn't like cameras, so he'd look away. Instead of looking directly at the camera and speaking to you, he would look down, he would look away, and he would read his notes because he was more comfortable doing it. But when we don't look somebody in the eye, we look like we're being dishonest. We don't look like we're connecting. We don't look confident. We don't look trustworthy. And that cost him his presidency. He didn't get re-elected because people didn't trust him, even though he was being honest. Body language is very important. It's key to how we communicate. Obama was very good at this. He knew how to communicate unconsciously because he'd been trained to do it. Everything that came out of his mouth was complete nonsense, but he was very good at communicating that he was trustworthy. Somebody did a TED talk on this. There was an interesting TED talk. I haven't been able to find it on YouTube. We won't watch it anyway because it's garbage, and it was literal garbage. A man who was an expert at body language got up on the stage and started talking, and he talked for half an hour, and all he said was just business gibberish. He just talked absolute crap. None of what he said made sense. He used circular logic, and everything he said just came to basically nothing. But he communicated it very strongly, very confidently. He looked at the audience, he gave the right gestures and the right motions, and all the way through, you can see on the cameras, the audience is going, oh, yeah. They're not really listening to what he's saying, they're listening to how he's saying it. So at the end of the lecture, everybody agreed that he was correct, although he'd actually said nothing. That's how the human race works. Unconscious communication is extremely powerful, and if you can learn some of the tricks to how it works, you'll be a much better communicator, and you'll be a much better person who reads communication. You'll be much better at judging what people are really saying and what they really mean. So this video is just a bright side video. It goes into some things. It mentions handshakes. It goes over the handshakes a little bit, which is why it's a good review topic, because we have touched on that this week, and I did want to just reinforce it one more time because it's something that we might see in the exam for better or worse. So I just wanted to go over it one more time so that we all remember the handshake thing. But it's not the key. It only comes up, I think, in the first 2 minutes. So we're going to cover that again today. Now there's a quiz attached to it, 20 questions. I don't think it's challenging. I didn't make it challenging. I made it so that all it is reinforcement learning. So while you're watching this, it's a comprehension exercise that asks you comprehension questions to make sure that you're watching and understanding what you're seeing. Now, to make it even more exciting, I've randomized the order. So you can't just go through it and guess all the answers. Everybody's got a different order. You've got 20 questions as well, which makes it harder for you to cheat and communicate with each other. So basically this is comprehension review with a little bit of fun added, because these body language tricks are, I think they're a lot of fun. Now I've read a lot of body language books. I got really into this, and I found that it works, absolutely works. But you look on YouTube now and the videos tend to be, does he like me, does she like me? Because men and women, no matter what the liberals want to have you believe, are very different. And unconscious communication between men and women to signal sexual interest is very different. Men and women both communicate unconsciously very differently. Most of the videos tend to be about that. Does he like me? Does she like me? Well, to be fair, and I've read a lot of books about this, women's body language about sexuality is much more interesting. Men's body language signals are not, so they're not crude exactly, but there's less of them, because men are designed to take the dominant role in a sexual relationship. So men tend to lean forward, tend to dominate, they tend to use hugging gestures, pull close, and that's pretty much it, because that's our job. Women have to signal unconsciously their interest in a much more complex way. So women's body language tends to be much more sophisticated than men's. We're basically cavemen with our clubs over our shoulders. Ooh, we want. Women tend to have to signal you that yes, we're interested. Yes, you're allowed to take one step forward. Yes, you're allowed to come into my personal space. And those gestures are quite complex. And again, as we've said before, treat them as words. Each gesture is a word, and you have to build up a sentence. You have to build up an understanding. Never take one single gesture as proof of anything. Look for 2 or 3 gestures in clusters together. That's what signals a genuine expression of unconscious communication. So yeah, I got really into this. I was quite interested actually while I was searching for the right video to show you, one that wasn't too much and was still fun, good editing. I actually found that one of my old heroes, Desmond Morris, is still alive. Now Desmond Morris was one of the best body language experts ever. And I'm going back right to the very beginning of the science of psychology. And he was, in the 80s, he made wrote a lot of books and made a lot of TV shows on the BBC. The Naked Ape, Animal Watching, People Watching, Man Watching. He wrote all of these books. You now can't buy them anywhere. They've disappeared, all of his books. And he was one of the greatest social psychologists of his generation. And now you can't find his books anywhere. It's really depressing. I had most of his books. I left them in England with a friend of mine. Obviously, I haven't been back to collect them, and I won't collect them now. But yeah, he was a fantastic writer and a fantastic practitioner of the art, and he wrote one of his Animal Watching and The Naked Ape. The Naked Ape was a TV show, and I think you can look it up on YouTube and get most of it. The Naked Ape was where he said, like, basically we are animals. Our unconscious mind is basically our animal self, and we express ourselves the same way animals do. And animal communication, because they don't use language, they express themselves through gestures, and they understand these gestures probably better than we do. I mean, we understand them. We understand the unconscious gestures extremely well, but we have our conscious mind also saying, I want to trust what this person is saying because it's more sophisticated. Animals don't have that layer of sophistication, so they're able to understand more clearly. Sometimes being smart takes you backwards. Trust me on that. So it's a very interesting subject. So watch the video, do the quiz, and then I would suggest you do some extra reading on it. If you want to do some extra reading on psychology, there are some fantastic resources out there. It's a very interesting subject, and it'll teach you more about yourself, and it'll teach you more about other people and the way they communicate with you. I think that every single page of a book you read about psychology is a moment of your life that's not wasted. It's a fantastic subject, because what higher achievement in learning is there than learning about yourself? And it will teach you about how you think, and it'll make you look at yourself in a completely different way. We are effectively naked apes. You know, we're naked apes. We're nothing but an animal with a human being plastered thinly over the top of it. So watch the video, do the quiz assignment, and And that's us for today. Now, homework, you'll see that there is a homework in the Google Classroom. So the homework this weekend is simply to finish the worksheets. Once you finish the worksheets, you've done the homework as far as I'm concerned. Now, I gave you a bit of a lecture yesterday because I know some people aren't doing it, and I really, really need you to do it. There's an old saying in England, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Now, I've taken you, the horse, to the water. I can't hold your head down and force you to drink. I've given you the assignments, only you can do them, okay? So, your assignment for this weekend, your homework assignment, is simply to finish all of the worksheets I've given you. Once you've done that, you're free to do whatever you want to do, which is probably play on YouTube or catch up with your maths homework. But either way, it's down to you. So, good luck, and I guess I will see you next week.